Over the years of Piggy, we were indoctrinated to believe that the military were the good guys and how they were supposedly helping us cure the infected by finding the one and only cure to Mr. P's disaster. We finally thought that we found the right people, but like they say, don't trust anyone. In this video, we will be explaining the roots and uncovering the shadows of the Valkyrie, who were previously known as the Valiant Armed Forces. We'll discover how we were all deceived by them by making the biggest mistake we could ever make. In the lab, we and a team of survivors finally uncovered the antidote after getting it from an abandoned laboratory from scientists who were observing Penny Piggy. This is a cure which was developed by the military when they started moving up north. This was heard through the radio broadcast, and for now, we only know that two outposts as Outpost Echo and the Outpost. While we got aside, the military came at the right time to obtain it from us. While we travelled back to one of our outposts, we knew that was the end. There was nothing else. We were stuck for 4 years without an actual explanation of our outcome. However, when the Piggy 6 Anniversary Skin Quest was released, which included the Penny Piggy skin, we were exposed to shocking captures of what happened to us regarding our departure from the camp. The Aftermath was a short comic taking place after the hidden ending. As we see in the first image, we can see inside the lab, Georgie finally encountering his infected sister Penny, who seems to be more corrupted, bigger, more different than before, which makes Georgie really upset. They all seem to be very disheartened and emotional after witnessing everything that happened to us. We can see Georgie getting comforted by Z and Mimi after his shocking encounter with his big sis. After some time, the group is taken to a bunker somewhere in the snow. Whilst walking inside, the door suddenly slams behind them, which not only makes them confused, but it makes us confused too, because we are already in a terrible mood after what happened, but we're also left to decide what's gonna happen, what's our fate. It's quite unfortunate that we don't discover what happens next, as anything could happen, but with this, we are left with mixed opinions on the military now. Are they as good as they seem, or is there something that they're trying to hide? I'll let you guys decide in the comments below, but this will be something important to remember, as this will be very useful to learn. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we need to learn about the Valkyrie's past. For now, we will refer to them as the military, but later they were rebranded to the Valkyrie, so don't get confused. Some members left as they weren't happy with this decision and felt that the higher-ups betrayed them. Years and years ago, there was a massive war and conflict with the military and the unknown group. We first learn about this war in the breakout chapter whilst playing as Tigry, who was accompanied by Danny and Sergeant Monroe. We were ordered to infiltrate an enemy base, which then led to Danny's death when struck by a knife by us, Tigry, who he thought was a monster called Umbra, who Tio made him hallucinate about. This already screams a big problem with the military, sending 2 soldiers by themselves, and especially Tigry, who only served less than 2 years. No communication, no guidance, nothing. It feels as if it was said by Sergeant Monroe, as he may have known something like this could happen. This already shows a lack of responsibility the military shows, and this is just a small fraction of their corruption. I mean, there was a note in the lab that mentions how there could be corruption in the military and how they were ordered to stop working on the cure. This same note relates to a similar note in Intercity, which mentions corruption in the government. From this, we could see this as the capital, and it quite makes sense. For now, we can already see the correlation between these two, and the fact they were commanded to stop working on the cure already alarms us. Now let's talk about an important figure in all of this, Sergeant Monroe, who is actually called Major Monroe now, which we speculate is retired or someone who used to be in charge. Major Monroe is an interesting character, as he was a higher up in the military, but also the founder of what's called the Valkyrie. This military organization claims to restore peace through Abadia with their military action. We can find them in several locations in Intercity, such as the stadium, the airport, the docks, and finally the bunker down south. We don't know their true motive or what they're trying to do, but we can theorize and actually uncover the truth ourselves, as we know the Valkyrie were once known as the Valiant Armed Forces, which we obviously know as the military. But according to some NPC quests, we see members of the military disliked what the Valkyrie were doing, so they called people who stuck as the Valkyrie as traitors. From a video teaser called Shattered Remains, there's Morse code that says they only wanted safety. Never forget the suffering. Never forgive the Val, which we will guess the Val refers to the Valkyrie. After seeing this, it does sound very strange how the capital, who we know as the corrupted government, is calling out the Valkyrie, who claims to restore peace in Baya. Are the capital out of their minds, or are they claiming the Valkyrie are way worse than they are? In an old image sent by the capital's official account on Twitter, we can see a picture of buildings on fire in a city, and in front of this we can see the Valkyrie flag, which is visible, which indicates the Valkyrie are linked to this. This would mean there is conflict between the Valkyrie and the capital, but not much is told to us about who started this war. The government wouldn't let go so easily, so they fired to death, resulting in fire everywhere, buildings to crash, but we are unsure where the city is based at. This could be based on a city, but for now, we will suspect that it's either the capital's own city or the reader city. But look, many could say the Valkyrie are trying to fight off corruption, but I don't think so. In a teaser video called Chapter Remains, as I just mentioned, the video shows binary codes hidden around saying remember what they did, we can't let them in again, and we will not let the military get away with what they've done to us. While the pain may heal, our scars will not. So from this, this could be insane propaganda from the capital, or it could be a message from the government warning the citizens of Avadia to not be deceived by the Valkyries. The military already left a bad reputation by being called for corruption alongside the capital, even going as far as the capital calling the military corrupted themselves. Like seriously, who do you even trust? But anyway, after all of this, they rebranded to the Valkyrie, which means a female warrior from a Viking mythology. Today, a Valkyrie symbolizes strong, brave, and a fearless woman. However, a military will symbolize power and order and will represent hierarchy and strictness, which sounds very oppressed and not pleasant at all. So from changing the name from the military to the Valkyrie, not only just changes their identity, but also makes them not get recognized as the military and sound more pleasant and safe to stay around. It doesn't just change their identity, it changes how they present themselves. This is a good tactic to gain the public support and trust, which the Valkyrie can take advantage of, as they can use these citizens to fight the war with them against the capital and take over Avadia. It also seems the citizens have no choice whatsoever, as they are trapped in Avadia, as the Valkyrie bases are at the docks and the airport, places where people used to go to travel out, go on holiday, leave the country, which is not possible whatsoever because of the Valkyrie. The bunker in the south, which is underground, consists of a lot of recruits, some who are very shy to talk to. One of the members, called Belated, who we encounter with the story, talks to us about how they forgot about the batteries for a radio that they need to make communication with. Later on, when speaking to them, they talk about how they aren't getting the food and fresh air they need and the basic essentials needed to survive, which tells us a lot about the lack of care in this base and how they aren't treated with care. This shows how inhumane the Valkyrie higher-ups are, as they cannot supply their members with basic needs. Also, the fact they have a base underground shows that there is something they need to hide and cannot be shown to the public. Let's go back to the unknown war with the Valkyrie. Who was it? What was it about? Well, we find some information when speaking to Major Taylor in the docks, who tells us that he was in the army since the Tritanium Insurgency, way long before the infection started. He was in Major Monroe's squad at the time. He used to be a sergeant. And Major Taylor speaks about how great of a leader Monroe is for the Valkyrie. Well, when we look deep at the word insurgency, it means a violent, armed rebellion by a regular, often smaller force against a larger authority or recognized government, which we know as the capital. One thing that we still don't know yet is where the war was at. Some people think it was at Reader City, as buildings, roads and structures are destroyed and derelict. It also gives off a smoky atmosphere, which makes sense since these things happen after a big destruction. It could also be at the capital's own city, as the effects also apply here. Buildings destroyed, thick cracks on the surface, things the infected couldn't do as they aren't really strong enough for that. Especially when Lucella is an abandoned city but doesn't contain any destroyed buildings at all. But it doesn't sound good for Lucella at all, as we know it could be the Valkyrie's next target to invade, as one of the soldiers talk about how after they get the resources they should consider targeting Lucella. This makes sense as there are already tanks in the city and already sounds like they are starting to move in. However, with this choice, some higher-ups in the Valkyrie seem to not like the idea. Major Tyrell, who is in charge at the stadium, one of the training grounds for the Valkyrie, isn't very supportive of the general. He blames him for the loss of Lucella, which tells us why it crumbled and lost everyone, all because of his general. But who is this general, you may be asking? Well, it can't be Monroe, as he is a major and they are both two different hierarchies and ranks. But general is the highest rank, while a major is a general officer rank, which is quite lower. It's also quite rare for a founder to be a general, so we wouldn't say it's Monroe. So who is this person? Are they the true reason of how the Valkyrie are corrupt and traitors to their own country? Either way, we still don't know what the actual reason why the Valkyrie changed its identity, and possibly its motives too, as many ex-members of the Avalian armed forces left due to the change and supposedly betrayed them. Maybe it has something to do with the insolence. Who knows? This sudden change wouldn't make sense unless a deal was made with the people who we can't trust. Anyway, for the ultimate decision if the Valkyrie is corrupt and evil, I'll leave it to you guys in the comments below and tell me what other videos should I make on Piggy, and I'll see you on the next one.